what we saw yesterday was frankly utterly shocking. I know you've been active on social media with your fury on it. I mean, what's gone on here? How have we ended up in this situation where frontline police officers have been left so exposed that I suspect they were terrified with those scenes?
Those are 4 officers yesterday of 40,000 officers that were assaulted in the past year. Frontline police officers are cannon fodder. They've become the Aunt Sallies of society. They have weak leaders. We have a mayor that is completely lost and undermines the Metropolitan Police. We have a government that promised so much and delivers so little. And we have frontline men and women that get up every day against the torrent of abuse on the streets, media condemnation, and stand between good and bad and right or wrong. They cannot win, and as a result of that, you see police officers almost standing strident, not knowing what to do. Burglary is a priority. Robbery is a priority.
Norma, you talk about leadership, and something went badly wrong there, where it took what was obviously quite a long period of time before essentially the riot squad arrived with the right equipment. And those rioters, they felt they had the upper hand. They had the bigger equipment, and the police had nothing, just a small truncheon at best. What should they have? Should we? I mean, one of my listeners has said they should be armed with rubber bullets. Alan says bring back the water cannon. Water cannon. Job done. What would you like to see brought back, Norman?
Well, let me just clear up a point you brought in when you first gave your sermon about multicultural, mass immigration. You're right. Multiculturalism, sadly, is not working in Britain. We have hundreds of thousands of people that come to this country that we welcome. Some, sadly, hate us, and they hate us so much that they take to the streets. They can cause a demonstration, just like they did yesterday, without any prior warning. As a result of that, the immediate units will be sent, will be unarmed officers. They won't be public order officers. They would just be the frontline response officers. And as you highlighted, and I saw and everyone else saw, there were countless dozens of young people, men, armed. So those officers could only do so much. You cannot take on 100+ violent, angry men. And as a result of that, the Commissioner's Reserve, which are the TSG officers, would have been alerted immediately. And it sometimes can take 10 or 15 minutes for them to arrive. Now, the thing is here, Richard, let me tell you the crux. If any of those officers got out their baton and charged at any of them suspects, armed suspects, and God forbid they intended to strike their arm or across the chest or leg, and inadvertently they struck them across the head, the following morning, the media and these groups that hate us so much and all these other mandy-pandy judges and everyone else that brings this country to its knees with their silly decisions will demand that officer is suspended. That officer will be suspended.
So that's the leadership point, Norman, but we've got to have this debate and rapidly, and our current leadership need to make some changes, because otherwise a police officer is going to be either very badly hurt or far worse. I talked last Thursday night about my fear about the safety of politicians, but I also fear now about the safety of our police. I mean, should actually they all have, for example, tasers? There has to be a proper deterrent so that those who are going to riot know that the consequences will be severe, and bluntly, it may hurt.
I'll tell you what we need, Richard. In London, we need 3 water cannons with dye. And anybody that's acting unlawfully, has weapons, assaults the police, damages our state property, they are hit with this dye. And those water cannons will have cameras that can facial recognize. And anyone with that dye leaving the area will be arrested. We also need 8 sets of 250 police officers, 10 with dogs, 10 armed officers. Every single one of those 250 officers are fully public order trained. There will be 8 of those units going around Britain. 1 will be in London. They can join up together as and when they need to, and they will challenge and tackle every area in Britain where thugs and criminals and the violent people that think that they can walk the streets unopposed will be challenged. The sad reality is, Richard, it won't happen, because everybody has become a social worker. Chiefs of police, where are they? They should be on the programme this morning, defending their officers. They're weak, they're woke, they're lost, they've got no vision, and where are they? Sadly, they're at home hoping that nobody phones them to make a decision, whilst frontline men and women, as you rightly say, risk their lives day in and day out.
Norman, I'm with your fury, I'm with your anger, and I know that millions of people at home hearing this, watching this, will be absolutely furious as well.